Josh here. Late breaking news. The Gencon Crossroads event has been changed. Instead of multiple rounds of different formats, it is now going to be a straight constructed event. Presumably it is going to be 7 rounds, so instead of the 2 rounds of constructed, 2 rounds of draft, 3 rounds of constructed, it is now a straight 7 rounds of constructed. Kind of late in the game, in my opinion, to be making that kind of a change. That is a very big change. We had a lot of folks who were rather upset that there was no straight constructed event, specifically that the Crossroads event was not straight constructed. And now we have the Crossroads event as straight constructed, and the effort to add another constructed event on Sunday has already happened, and that is also now live on Gencon's website. So if you want to play in the 32 individual constructed event on Sunday, that is up as well. But in my opinion, that feels very redundant at this point. If the Crossroads is going to be 100% constructed, I don't know that we need that Sunday event. It's still going to go on. That is how it's going to be done. Now, one thing that might have happened that could have been considered was that they cancel that Sunday event and add a top cut to the Crossroads event to fill in that same slot. That is not happening. There is no top cut for the Crossroads event. It is going to be 7 straight rounds, and again, I'm presuming 7 straight rounds of constructed. A lot of folks I know probably are not thrilled by the prospect of there not being a top cut, but you do have a straight constructed event now that's 7 rounds, so I guess that's the trade-off. You get the straight constructed event, but it doesn't have a top cut. Given the variability of play of Sorcery, for large events, top cuts have become very important. The length of time it takes to play a round of Sorcery, we can't do best of 3. So you can have a bad game. And without a top cut, there's a very good chance that you will be eliminated early on if you suffer in a 7-round match, let's say, a 7-round tournament. If you suffer 2 losses early on, your hopes of actually making the top and winning the event without a top cut are essentially nil. Even having just a single loss, making the very top of the tournament can be very difficult unless that loss occurs at the late stage of the event. If you are undefeated until round 7, well, you take that loss and it's fine. If you took that loss in round 1 because of a bad pairing, bad draw, then it's a problem. So we have this mixed situation where now folks have registered for an event. The format has been changed. By the way, they have confirmed you will still receive 3 booster packs as part of the entry. So as part of your participation prizes, you're going to get those 3 booster packs that you're being charged for the entry fee of the Crossroads event. So if you're saying, man, I'm paying a whole lot of money to participate in a Crossroads event that was supposed to have packs, you are going to get those 3 packs that were part of that price. So no concerns there. You'll get the packs. Some of you might say, well, I would have preferred it be cheaper and I not have the packs. I can understand that, but look, at the time of making this video, 119 people have signed up for the 128 individual Crossroads event. So refunding, fixing, that is not going to happen. Gencon is already backed up trying to fix events, post more events. They do not have the staff and the time to handle something of that magnitude. So you're still going to get your 3 packs. It is what it is. That's how it is. I think some folks are also upset because, or will be upset once they hear about this if they haven't yet, because they may have avoided that Crossroads event because they didn't want to do the draft. They didn't like that split. And so they opted to participate in other Gen Con events. And now they have locked in all of these other Gen Con events. And now all of a sudden the Crossroads is the way they want it. Another disappointment for those folks. And you can say, well, they could cancel other events. Yeah, unless they've committed to play with a group of friends, and they're all doing this together and it's going to be a great time. So, they could have, the individual who's in this situation could have, played in an event on Friday that was the same as the event on Saturday that they locked into. And so that's another very unfortunate side effect of making this type of change this close to Gen Con itself. That being said, this is the right decision. I'm not talking about the top cut. Specifically, I am talking about making this a straight constructed event. When the Crossroads was first posted and I saw that it was a mixed event with 2 rounds of draft just kind of dropped into the middle of 5 rounds of constructed, I was concerned. I have dealt with the Play Network significantly at large events. I have been at a major event that I was assisting with judging, and that whole software completely stopped functioning, and we had to go to paper. So, the idea that the software was in a place, or will be in a place by Gen Con, to actually do this type of an event with different types of tournaments as part of the software, I did not have a lot of faith. I cannot even get the software currently to let me do a draft where it doesn't take the 10 people in my draft and put them in a pot of 6 and a pot of 4. I want a pot of 10, and I can't even get it to do that. So the idea that we were thinking that this system would have been in a place where it could have done a match with multiple formats with 128 players, I did not have a lot of faith in that happening, given my experience with the software. So, that is why this is the right decision in my opinion. It can run 7 rounds of constructed for 128 players. No problem, mostly. There was that weird negative win error that we saw at Gen Con 2024. Hopefully that doesn't crop its head up again. So 7 rounds of constructed, though, I have much more faith in the software being able to run that and to get us to a place where we actually have an overall victor and it looks good. I understand the complaints about not having a top cut, but pushing that aside, having 7 straight rounds constructed, not mixing up the events, is best for the software. It's best for you as players, because you will not be sitting around while we struggle to fight the software to get it to do what we want, or worse, have to do paper pairings. Finally, it's really good for the volunteers. You do not want to be the person, I can tell you from personal experience, to be the person that says, sorry, we're delayed. We're delayed. We're delayed. No, you don't want to be that person. You do not want to be that individual. And then when you've got other events that are after the Crossroads, because there are events after the Crossroads, there is a learn to play, and I think there's a learn to play. Yeah, I think there's a learn to play tucked in there. And the event that I love the most, the casual play and trade. So there is not time or space to have that event run over. And when you're mixing formats, when we know the software has had issues in the past, the chance of that happening would have been extraordinarily high, in my opinion. Which is why I think, for the sake of everyone's sanity that's going to participate in that Crossroads event, 7 rounds of constructed is going to make everyone's life much easier. That's all I've got to say about this. Again, quick recap. Gen Con Crossroads is now 7, I think, rounds of constructed. The draft portion is gone. You will still get the 3 packs that were part of the entry fee simply as a participation prize. So you're going to get your Tower promo and your 3 packs just for being in the event. Only 9 tickets left. So if you've been waiting and now you're like, oh, it's constructed, I can get in, you better go get those tickets. 7 rounds of constructed, first Crossroads ever. It's going to be exciting. I'm going to be there. I hope you are too. As always, keep on contesting the realm!